on the storm. The team was ready. Overall, the Guard had about a dozen commodities distribution missions. This particular unit was prepared to do route clearance and debris removal, and also a high-wheeled vehicle evacuation, all of which we're very lucky was not needed in this particular event, although we are staying vigilant with today's thunderstorms. But I want to say thank you to the unit, the 192nd Engineers. We also have elements, soldiers from the 1109th Theater Aviation Sustainment Maintenance Group in Groton that are here with us as well. Those are our logisticians. Typically they're repairing aircraft, but this past weekend they were helping us with the commodities distro. So I want to say thank you to the entire team, and thank you to the governor for all his support. It was very key that the governor authorized us early and upfront to pre-stage and pre-position both personnel and equipment so that we were postured to respond if needed. So thank you very much. Appreciate it, sir.
Hey, General Yvonne, thank you. And I really wanted to come here today. 1-800-GO-GUARD, it says right here. I love the Guard, and I'll tell you why. We needed you desperately over this last year and a half, and you stepped up every day. During the worst of COVID, we needed your help. We were building field hospitals. We were getting a lot of PPE, the protective equipment. We had to get that stored really quick. We had to get that distributed. General Yvonne, do you have anybody who can help? Yes, I do. And you were right there for us along the way. And we had ICEA. That was tough. That was a brutal storm. Remember, we had 800,000 people lose power. And a lot of it would have been out without power extra weeks if it wasn't for each and every one of you. Mainly in terms of what you're able to do in clearing in the trees. And then we had to be prepared this last time around for Henri. Henri doesn't sound like that scary a name, actually. And it wasn't that scary a storm only because it hit Rhode Island harder than it hit Connecticut. But you made us ready. And if we weren't ready, the worst can happen. So I got to tell you, on behalf of the people of Connecticut, as best as I can speak for them, I wanted to be here to send your message loud and clear. Thanks on behalf of the people. You make an enormous difference every day. I just got a chance to meet a few of you. I love where you're coming from and what you're doing, and I love the fact that you're serving the state of Connecticut. And I told everybody, stick around Connecticut. Don't leave. We need you. Take care. Do you have any questions for General Yvonne?
Do you have, General, do you have police people deployed right now in case of flooding?
General.
So the question is, do we have anyone deployed currently in case of flooding? So we still have teams, high-wheel evacuation teams at 9 different armories postured across the state. So again, we're being diligent and through this afternoon and until the storm truly passes. But we do have both route clearance teams and high-wheel evac teams that are currently on station, ready to be deployed if needed. Absolutely.
And where are you focused mostly?
So we shifted from the coastline. We were down in Orange. We had our air control squadron in Orange. We had 2 teams there. There were 4 teams here in Norwich. We had a team in also in Westbrook and in Brantford, and then we have teams up in Windsor Locks area and kind of shifting towards the west now, towards Bristol and Waterbury as well, so they can react on the I-84 corridor if needed.
Governor, what was your assessment of the Canterbury damage?
Canterbury was 95% without power as of 24 hours ago, and today almost everybody is back up, and Eversource assures me everybody will be back up by the end of today. It was the town in the state of Connecticut was the hardest hit, and there are a lot of trees. There are a lot of trees hanging over the wires, and there's nothing you can do about that. You can't trim all those trees, so it really requires folks who can hit the ground very quickly, get the trees cleared and the wires back up, and I think we're doing it. And the utilities are doing a much better job this time than last time.
What are you most concerned about today regarding this? Looks like we're having another past
Flooding.
And where, I guess?
I was telling somebody, the ground is so saturated with water that every inch of rain creates immediate floods and flash floods. and they're tracking where the rainstorms are, so they see what brooks and streams it goes into, where they're most likely to flood, so we can tell local mayors. Peter, you ready? Where we think the risk is going to be and how we can get people remediated there and take care. I think this is going to go on, Sue, for probably another 12 hours or so. Right now, the storm is up, New Haven. Hartford is just in a flash flood zone right now, and then moving into, western Connecticut. So hopefully we'll be spared the worst of it here.
Are there any specific places that you're most concerned about?
I was just told central Connecticut up through Hartford over to western Connecticut, in and around the streams. And then the cities. You know why the cities flood so bad? Because it's all parking lots, so there's nowhere for that water to run, so it just creates flash urban floods.
I was just wondering, in general, from your experience, with what your men and women have been called upon in the last year and a half, has this been more than you've seen in your career?
So the question is this been more than we've experienced? So again, the last 18 months have been unprecedented. I can tell you in 35 years, this is probably the longest period of time that we've had soldiers and airmen on orders. Think about what we did in January with we had armed guardsmen, Army and Air, at our nation's capital and at our state capital. So unprecedented times, and add in, like the governor said, tropical storm Asais, and also don't forget we were able to implement and put into action our cyber warfare team. So insisting the city of Hartford with the ransomware attack. So really, the answer is yes. Unprecedented times. The op tempo has been fairly significant, and I'd be remiss if I didn't remind everyone that we still have over 900 Connecticut Guardsmen deployed around the world. So we have some airmen that are helping the evacuation in Afghanistan, and we've had equipment that we've lent to Puerto Rico to assist with the evacuations going on in Haiti as well. So I'd be remiss if I didn't, recognize the great work that crew is deployed, and the families and the sacrifices that their families make as well.
Governor, a question about Monday afternoon quarterback who followed the storm. Would you change anything the way your resources were deployed?
I think we changed a lot since last year. We devolved a lot of the decision making. We had emergency operations centers in Norwich and a lot of our other towns. Each and every one of those local operations center had a direct liaison to Eversource, United Illuminating, wherever their utility was. Same with the telecom guys, Frontier and Comcast. So the decision making was not centralized, it was decentralized, because Peter knows where the real need is in Norwich better than anybody. He'd know where the flooding was. He could be a heads-on in terms of where the greatest risk is in terms of the outages, and we could get a direct line to Eversource, and they could get people there. I think that made a big difference in having twice as many people on the ground deployed, ready to go.
Would you tweak it in the past 36 hours, what you've seen? Would you add anything, take anything away?
We just got to hold people accountable. I mean, it's really important that the utilities realize that electricity is absolutely life-giving. Last time was tough. The power was out 3, 4, 5, 6 days. You got generators that are running out of juice. The generators are powering a nursing home. The nursing home has medicine. They've got to keep refrigerated. They've got to realize how absolutely vital it is we get this stuff up within 72 hours, and don't underestimate the storm, overestimate it so you're prepared. Thanks, everybody. Oh, one more?
Sorry, yeah, quick question. Governor, we heard you mention earlier that you didn't really know what the National Guard did from a day-to-day basis. Now that you do, now that you've seen them at work, will you be using these men and women differently as storms pop up, or how will you change those plans?
No, but before I was in public service, look, I knew the National Guard goes around the world, protecting freedom, and I had that sense. How involved they are in keeping the state of Connecticut safe, I've been reminded of every day I've been in this job.
And you saw firsthand Gitmo, right?
And that as well, yep.
General, does all that help recruitment, or harm, make it tougher to recruit people? Are they maybe scared off by the job?
Yeah, how's recruitment going?
So I'm happy to stand here today, and last year we had the #1 recruiting battalion, small state recruiting battalion. So based on number of soldiers and airmen. And we also had the #1 recruiter in the state. So our recruiting efforts are doing very well. We're working currently with trying to get back into schools as schools open up with COVID. Some of the second and third order effects of not being able to get in front of young candidates, but our recruiters have been innovative. They've been amazing on how they connect with younger folks, the 18 to 24-year-olds that have that propensity to serve their nation, that want to raise their right hand to be part of something larger than themselves. And I have to thank the state legislature also. So in the late 80s with the tuition waiver. So 100% college tuition waiver for our soldiers and airmen is one of our big recruiting tools. And the latest trend is also a little bit of an older candidate, so maybe 28 to 31, maybe getting their stride on what they want to do next, and affordable health care. So all of our members have access to TRICARE health care, and that's one of our initiatives and incentives that we've been promoting and getting some traction on maybe a little bit older candidate that wants to join the Guard and serve this great state.
What does that mean, the #1 recruiter?
So the #1 recruiter of the entire 54 states and territories was our recruiter right from Connecticut. So she was the lead recruiter in the National Guard across the nation.
Darren, what's your total troop numbers now?
So we have about 5,000 Army and Air Connecticut Guardsmen, and that number jumps up a little bit to about 5,400 with the Governor's Horse Guard, Foot Guard, and our state militia, who were also very active during COVID as well.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.